You are looking to maximize fat loss in the shortest time possible, maybe because you have a beast trip planned and you want to look at your best. Well, I got you covered. In today's video, it's all about how you can maximize fat loss in a 4-week period. This is the same strategy I use if I have a project that requires me to get lean. Check this 4-week mini-cut progress that I just realized. That's about 3.5 kilograms or 8 pounds lost in 4 weeks, while still maintaining strength. There are 4 main variables that need to be managed in order to have a successful mini-cut. How much you eat, what types of foods you eat, how much lifting weights you do, and how much cardio you perform. Let's dive straight into the first variable, which is how much you eat, or in other words, your calorie intake. So, as you know, if you consume fewer calories than your body expends in a day, you are in a calorie deficit and you will lose fat. The interesting part about a mini-cut is that your calorie deficit can be more aggressive. Because a mini-cut only takes 4 to a maximum of 6 weeks, you also need an approach that is sustainable for only 4 to 6 weeks. Decreasing calorie intake aggressively for 12 or more weeks, like in a traditional fat loss phase, can be a challenge. But if I tell you it's only for 4 weeks, we can typically commit to a greater challenge. With that said, we also want to avoid complete crash dieting. We do not want to just lose weight, but we want to get leaner, and this requires you to lose fat while at least maintaining muscle. The last thing you want is that you feel weak and lost muscle when you actually get to the beach. So there needs to be a balance. For most people, eating between 10 to 12 calories per pound of your goal body weight is a good calorie deficit for a mini-cut. So let's say your goal body weight is to be 180 pounds. Between 1800 to 2100 calories per day will put you in a good calorie deficit. Now, if you are someone that is very active, then keep your calories closer to the 2100 calories per day. While if you are more sedentary, eating 1800 calories in this example makes more sense. Especially because this is a short mini-cut with a focus on progress maximization, I do recommend you to track your calories in such a phase to be as accurate as possible with your eating. Research clearly shows that short-term calorie tracking helps improve fat loss progress because of the increased awareness of the calorie amounts you are consuming. Now, next to how many calories you should be consuming, we also want to look into what types of foods you eat. Because if you're going to have an intensified calorie deficit, you also want to make sure you have meals that fill you up to still have good energy and also get good protein in. So we want to focus on having protein-rich meals with mostly whole foods, like whole grains, vegetables, and fruits. When I was in a mini-cut, this is how I approached my 2000 calorie day with 140 grams of protein. First, I start with a high protein oatmeal breakfast in which I mix 60 grams of oats, a scoop of whey protein, fruits, some nuts, and warm milk. That's 600 calories right there with 40 grams of protein. I also make sure my lunches and dinners are structured around a protein source. For lunch, I often had an omelette with vegetables that was 500 calories with 30 grams of protein. And for dinner, I would have chicken, beef, or salmon mixed with rice and vegetables. This meal has about 700 calories and 50 grams of protein. As a daily snack, I would have this protein yogurt with 20 grams of protein and some fruits next to it, which in total was about 200 calories. All this together brings me to 2000 calories per day with around 140 grams of protein. And as you can see, I was still able to have decent meals, but I just had to control my snacking and make sure that I mostly consumed whole foods to help me stay satiated. Now, a snack occasionally will not undo all your progress and you can still fit it into your calories. It then just becomes a trade-off for you to feel less satiated in order to have that snack. Thirdly, we got lifting weights. I purposely want to discuss lifting before we dive into doing all types of cardio, because your lifting sessions should still hold a priority in your training. As mentioned, the goal is not just losing weight, but we want to lose fat and keep good muscle definition. The nutrition approach we just discussed will be effective for making you lose weight. Now we need to make sure we keep lifting heavy weights to help you showcase the underlying muscle once you've leaned down. The principles that apply if you want to build muscle are the same principles we want to live by if maintaining muscle in a mini-cut is the objective. Train each major muscle group with 10 to 20 sets per week. A beginner trainee can start with 10 sets per muscle group per week, and the more you advance, the more sets you do. At the same time, focus on training mostly major compound exercises like the bench press, squat, pull downs, and Romanian deadlifts, with the goal of getting stronger on these movements. Add isolation work to smaller muscle groups like your biceps, triceps, delts, and calves to enhance their development. Train all your exercises in a 5 to 15 rep range. Research shows that you can build muscle with a variety of rep ranges. But to keep your training efficient, train your compound exercises with 5 to 15 reps per set and train your isolation movements with 10 to 15 repetitions per set. And lastly, push yourself in training by keeping no more than 1 to 2 repetitions in reserve at the end of each set. By doing this, you will have a solid training plan on your hands. And to give you an example, this is how I approach my training during my mini-cut. I had a 4-day upper-lower split. As you can see, I train each major muscle group with about 15 sets, and there is a focus on compound exercises, with some isolation movements to help train smaller muscle groups. You can take this template and change it based on your preferences. The fourth and last variable is to also incorporate cardio into your routine to enhance fat loss progress. Your nutrition with a calorie deficit and the lifting approach will already be responsible for 80 to 90% of your progress, but we can further advance your results with cardio. My favorite form of cardio is actually going for long walks. Research shows that an extra 25-minute daily walk helps boost the fat loss progress of individuals in a calorie deficit by 20%. So in my mini cut, I also committed to a daily walk, but then for 30 to 45 minutes, and that definitely helped speed up the results. Especially if you're not that active in your day job, committing to the extra walk is going to provide valuable calorie burn you need to realize the aggressive deficit that's required in this mini cut. Additionally, I also recommend you perform one intense cardio session per week, which can also actually help you from a muscle development perspective. Having good cardiovascular fitness improves capillary density. Essentially, the blood vessels through which nutrients get delivered to muscle get enhanced, as supported by research. So to have both improved fat loss and muscle recovery, commit to daily walks with one challenging cardio session per week. And that is the formula for a successful mini cut. To sum up, have your calories between 10 to 12 calories per pound of your goal body weight. Be sure to prioritize protein-rich and whole foods for good satiety. Keep lifting weights like you would when muscle growth is your main goal, and add daily walks with one intense cardio session per week to your routine. Really, with just these 4 steps, you will have an amazing mini cut, and will be able to rock a leaner look on the beach this summer. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Also, if you found this video helpful, then leave me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video.